Hey guys, what is going on in Alaska? It's rumbling all over the place. One large here, one large here, one large there. Then announcement, oh, volcano under the biggest city in Alaska. Could that thing erupt? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, whoa, I was just busy reporting about California, about the eruption in Iceland, about a 5.1 in Barda Bunga. So check out that video. Campi Flegrei, large earthquake swarm. But Alaska, hey guys, we got to sort this a little bit because we're talking about tectonic stuff, earthquakes, swarms, and we're talking about a volcano. So let's start with the volcano, I would say. And since it's Alaska and it's cold, I'm wearing this hat. No, the truth is, guys, it's been windy all day. I've been wearing this all day, so I'm really having a bad hair day if I take this off. And some of you might know I'm in an RV because I need to save my dog's life. We're here for radiation treatment for my dog, Apollo. If you want to know what that is about, check out the videos that I'm making to document this. The link is in the end screen with the whole playlist, so then you know what's going on. But, bad hair day, but it fits Alaska. So Mount Spurr. What's going on with Mount Spurr? A lot is going on. We have earthquakes and we have ground deformation. And that's why we're getting headlines. Earthquake under a volcano near Alaska's largest city raise concerns. Okay, Anchorage. An increase in the number of earthquakes under a volcano near Alaska's largest city this year has geologists paying attention. Mount Spurr, that is about 80 miles, that's 129 kilometers northwest of Anchorage, last erupted not that long ago in 1992, and it has spewed out an ash cloud that was very, very high, nearly 12 miles up in the air. That's 19 kilometers. And that has, of course, caused flights to be canceled and people wearing masks. It was really, really a bad air. So Mount Spurr is a stratovolcano. That's the classical volcano, the picture that you have if you think about a volcano, this classic cone like Mount Vesuvius, like really triangle mountain, so to speak. This mountain is 11,000 feet high. That's 3,383 meters. So as high as many mountains in the Alps, for example. So if there was another eruption at Mount Spurr, that could be severely disruptive for Anchorage, to say the least. And that's what the Alaska Volcano Observatory says. So they must know this because they're monitoring this thing all the time. So they have already raised the alert status of Mount Spurr this October. So they have raised it from green to yellow. And remember, Campi Flegrei is at yellow. Should be at orange, but for some reason it's still at yellow. If you want to know why, check out my videos. So when the increase in the seismic activity became known because they felt it, and a ground deformation was also spotted on satellite data, that raised concerns, and that's when they raised the alert level. And why is that? For those of you who follow my channel, ground uplift. So the ground is rising. And why is this rising? Because something underneath the surface is filling up, is expanding, and that makes it rise. So imagine you put an air balloon underneath your flower bed and a little bit of topsoil on it, and then you start pumping air on it. The balloon is rising, rising, rising. So everything else is rising too. And that's what's happening. There's magma chamber underneath, or chambers underneath, that are filling up with magma that is coming from a deeper reservoir. And that's why the land is rising. And if that is mixed with earthquakes, that is an indication that the volcano is, or might, let's say might, probably is, in my opinion, getting ready. Because get this, guys, the observatory has said this Friday that there have been about 1,500 small earthquakes below the volcano this year. And don't be triggered like, oh, it's only small earthquakes. Volcanoes do not produce like constant earthquake swarms of like 7 or 8. No, the small tremors. This is telling us magma's grinding to the surface. Magma's trying to find a way. Right? You see the big ones shortly before the eruptions, they get bigger. But anything like magnitude 1 or even below, seismic swarms, 2, 3, that could already be, for some volcanoes, be an indication. In Iceland, 2.7 is an indication that the eruption might start. So don't be fooled by that. So in a normal year, this volcano sees 100 earthquakes. So this year, we already have 15 times as much. 1,500. So the magma is mining underground. I'm always saying mining. It's building tunnels. It's trying to find the easiest way to the surface to create an eruption. So, and of course, scientists know that they don't know. They say, yeah, it's alerting, but yeah, it could be nothing. So also, the observatory says, oh, it's not such an enormous amount, but it could be a precursor to an eruption or not. So everything is possible, right? So they have already seen a similar seismic unrest like this from 2004 to 2006. And then all of a sudden, the land was subsiding without an eruption. And that tells us probably a magma intrusion happened. That means magma was sent out from the magma chamber, but it didn't make it all the way to the surface. It remained underground, but magma was moving. So they say right now, we don't see any significant change in our data that would tell us that an eruption is imminent, but define imminent today, tomorrow, the next few days, right? But it could be next week, next month, who knows? So they are saying things have been kind of this low-level unrest for a while now, and we're of course watching it very closely to detect any changes and what that might mean. Same in Iceland, the eruption that just happened, it's probably ended today. They thought, no, the magma chamber is not full enough yet. It might be around Christmas. Nope, it happened as a surprise with a smaller earthquake swarm on November 20th. So these volcanoes, they can fool us because the science is not progressed enough so that there could be any very precise predictions. If you have a volcanic system like now on the Reykjanes Peninsula in Iceland that kept erupting like every month or every second month, you can start to read the signs, right? So scientists are now watching that volcano very closely. They're looking for signs of an impending eruption. So they say if magma's moving closer to the surface, so there would be an increase in earthquakes, which we do have. There would be ground deformations, which we do have. They say there would be a creation of a summit lake or fumaroles. These are hot steam vents that are coming out. Do they have to be there every time? So this volcano last erupted in 1992 from its crater peak flank vent. So there was a vent with stuff coming out, and that was not coming out through the summit. So this vent was located about 2 miles, that's 3 kilometers south of the summit, and that eruption dropped about a 1/4 inch of ash in Anchorage this year, like covered it fully. Residents had to stay inside or they went out with some protective masks. And that cloud was drifting as far as Greenland. And you know, Alaska has a problem from multiple sides, from like many earthquakes, more than any state in the US, but also Mount Spurr is located on the volcanic ring of fire, and that is a ring of fire that consists of 53 volcanoes in Alaska. 53. I'm not sure this is a very friendly place to live if you're scared of earthquakes and volcanoes. If you're excited about that, it's a great place to do some research, I would say. So 53 volcanoes in Alaska, and you have to know Alaska. They have been active within the last 250 years. So they're not dead or dormant. They have been active fairly recently. So why does it have this summit caldera that you see here on the picture? That has been formed by a previous eruption. So that was a long time ago. An eruption created this caldera in which a new cone was formed then. So this is called crater peak. And since then, this crater peak has been the eruption center of Mount Spurr for the last 5,000 years. And you know, we already have the land rise, the earthquakes, and we also have this kind of lake. It's a crater lake. So in addition to all of that, the meltwater from the volcano's glacier was collected in the summit crater. And we know it's never good if water mixes with magma. That can become very explosive. So this has formed a small steaming crater lake. Steaming because it's a volcano that is underneath. So we also have some fumaroles that are lying on its shore already. So basically we do have everything in place so that this thing could erupt. It's not that we need to wait for more signs. And you know, to get that right, in many media reports that have interviews with the volcanologists, the local volcanologists, they are stressing, even stressing in the media, that these activities could indicate a possible impending volcanic eruption. But they could also subside without an eruption, intrusion. So, volcanoes, earthquakes because of the volcanoes. But there's other earthquakes too right now. And if you look at what's going on, if you follow some earthquake monitoring system or whatever, you're getting like beep alert, here, beep, 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 beep. It's going everywhere. So I was thinking, ooh, what is going on? So what is the earthquake risk in Alaska? I think we should talk about this. So the scientists have long recognized that Alaska has more earthquakes than any other region of the United States and probably Canada. And it is, in fact, one of the most seismically active areas around the world. The second largest earthquake that was ever recorded shook the heart of southern Alaska on March 27th in 1964 with a magnitude, and now hold your chairs, guys, a magnitude of 9.2. That's what the West Coast is overdue for with the Cascadia Fault, a 9 or even higher, where they say this will destroy the Pacific Northwest. So 9.2, this is massive. And there's even pictures of this earthquake. You see the collapse of the newly completed four-season apartment building in Anchorage during the 1964 earthquake. So a lot of damage. The 1964 earthquake was also slightly larger than the magnitude 9.0 Sumatra and Andaman Islands earthquake that has devastated northern Sumatra in 2004. And we remember that, right? It has generated this massive, devastating tsunami that has ended more than 280,000 people. And, you know, this is the magnitude that we're talking about here. And of course, everything that's going on in Alaska can create tsunamis. The largest on-land earthquake in North America in almost 150 years occurred on the Denali Fault in central Alaska in 2002 with a magnitude of 7.9. That's massive as well. So scientists are saying it's not possible to predict the time or the location of the next big earthquake, but they know that it's going to come. So they say the active geology of Alaska guarantees that major damaging earthquakes will continue to occur. And scientists have estimated where these large earthquakes are most likely to occur, where there's the biggest chance that we could see them. And then they are also estimating the probable level of ground shaking that would be expected throughout the state. So with all of this also comes the risk of landslides that could also cause tsunamis. Maybe you have seen my video about the Akernes mountain that is about to collapse in a fjord in Norway and could generate a tsunami as high as 300 feet. Crazy, because there's villages right there. With this information that we have right now and the information about the soil properties and the landslide potential, it is possible to a certain extent to create some risk levels for certain areas, to estimate their earthquake risk and the damages. It is also possible to estimate the potential for these earthquakes to generate tsunamis, and then to model to a certain extent to which tsunamis will inundate coastal areas and where, which coastal areas. So we have to say that Alaska has changed significantly since this damaging 1964 earthquake. Of course, they have done something to prevent massive damage like this. But you have to know it has changed also in a way that the population there has more than doubled, which of course increases the risk again. So there are many new buildings that are designed to withstand this intense shaking. But there are some older buildings, they have been reinforced, and also development has been discouraged in some particularly hazardous areas. But we have a problem. Despite these precautions, the practices to reduce the vulnerability to earthquakes and tsunamis are not applied consistently in regions of high risk, and that's a problem. So future earthquakes may still cause life-threatening damage to buildings, cause items within buildings to be dangerously tossed around. Basic utilities could be disrupted, and critical facilities that people take for granted could be completely destroyed. Maybe you've seen my video about Victoria and British Columbia recently, how shockingly unprepared many homeowners are and many homes are. And even downtown, many big famous buildings, they're not reinforced yet. So the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and that is quite interesting, they estimate that with the present infrastructure in place and the policies that are in place in Alaska, that Alaska will have the second highest average annualized earthquake loss ratio of infrastructure in the country. They need to work on reducing these risks. They need public commitment to earthquake-conscious siting, design, and construction. Well, let's have a quick look at Alaska's earthquake statistics. So it's home of the second largest earthquake ever recorded, 1964, 9.2. Alaska has 11% of the world's recorded earthquakes. Did you know that? And 3 of the 8 largest earthquakes in the world were also in Alaska. That is also very significant. And then 7 of the 10 largest earthquakes in the United States were in Alaska. And since the year 1900, Alaska has had an average of 1 great earthquake, magnitude 8 or larger, every 13 years. Wow. 1 magnitude 7 to 8 earthquake every year. 6 magnitude 6 to 7 earthquakes per year. Wow. And then 45 magnitude 5 to 6 earthquakes per year, 320 magnitude 4 to 5 earthquakes every year, and an average of 1,000 earthquakes are located in Alaska each month. Wow. Yeah, so guys, it seems these earthquakes are somewhat normal in Alaska. We have to wait and see what they really mean will we see a bigger one? Will we see tsunamis? But, you know, will we see a volcanic eruption? That's the big question for me. So the volcano right now is the thing that I personally want to monitor the most. Let me know, guys, what do you think? What's going to happen with Alaska? Would you still live there? What's your gut feeling? Let me know in the comments. And guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in this stuff, hey, subscribe, become even a member of my channel for exclusive behind the scene videos. I would love for you to join this great community of members. For all my new members, hey, thanks for joining. It's great to have you there. Let's chat very soon. And thanks for supporting this channel, guys. You know what I mean. For my dog Apollo, that's why I'm here in the RV. For the coffees you keep buying me, thanks so much. If you are new here or not new, if you want to support the channel right now, everything goes to Apollo's monstrous vet bill. The link is in the description to my buymeacoffee.com/silky website. There's all you need to know. And I hope to see you in one of my other videos. Check out what's going on in the end screen. There's so much going on right now. I'm hardly having a break. So I've been busy all day and I already have more in the pipe. But I thought I'd let you know about what's going on in Alaska because this is kind of felt really crazy right now. So stay safe wherever you are. Be prepared. Be cautious. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.